disturbing.
Hi there, and welcome to Dork Wars, the podcast, your galactic hub for all things Star Wars and more. My name's Blake, and I'm here with two of the best hosts in the galaxy. Man, it's been a long time. I forgot you were on the show. The ever-elusive Grant.
You know, just because I'm here does not mean it breaks canon.
And the commentator, Andrew.
Is this the way?
And the funny one, Wesley. So, Grant, you're back, man. I mean, it's been a while.
It has indeed been a while. I am glad to be back. I was out moving and dealing with children.
Yeah, it happens, man. But I mean, you were gone extra long because we took that really long, like 7-month hiatus, and then you missed the first two episodes. There was actually a check for you if you recorded episode 1, and you missed out, and Wesley actually missed out too. So,
you know, at least I'm not alone in my suffering of not getting paid $0 in the mail.
That's right. That's right. We got paid, and we still didn't make any money. But anyways, let's get on with it. Now hear this.
Now hear this! Now hear this!
Now you hear this, whoever you are.
We have some sad news today. We are on our third week of Hunger Games news, just back to back to back. The first 2 weeks was the same news, but we had Wesley on last week who had to share his Hunger Games knowledge and his love for it. And now Grant gets his chance. I called him a poser 2 weeks ago.
You're the poser, Blake.
And then Wesley affirmed it. Wesley affirmed it last week. He said the same thing. So I know you haven't.
I haven't even heard that.
I know you haven't heard that episode
you know it's
yet.
true.
I know you hadn't heard it yet, but just go on the fact that he definitely did say that. And yeah, man. So now you get to flex your love of Hunger Games. And I know you love Hunger Games. It was just a joke, man. It was just a joke. I got a joke with you. Since you're not here, I have to talk behind your back. I mean, I talk to your face, but you're not here.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
I get it though. I totally get it. We weren't here for 7 months. So it is with a heavy heart that we bring you unfortunate tidings. Mr. Donald Sutherland has passed away. If you're a Hunger Games fan, you will know him as
President Snow.
President Snow. I could not think of his
a poser
title.
would definitely know that.
I was about to say Dictator Snow or something.
Blake, you're a poser.
I'm a poser.
Poser.
He played President Snow in the Hunger Games. Did a fantastic job. I mean, you talk about someone who's calm, cool, and menacing. Like, you felt his presence through every scene. Definitely a loss to the entertainment world.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad loss. You know, he really captured the character in the first 4 films for the Hunger Games franchise, and you know, it's interesting to see as you know rumors are swirling around. Will they de-age him and just have him play the younger version of himself in this upcoming film?
Right.
But obviously that doesn't look like it's really an option anymore. So. You know, we'll see where they go with it, but it is a tragic loss from Hunger Games to MASH to all sorts of different acting in between.
Yeah, he's everywhere. I mean, that was his craft. He was very good at it. So there's 2 ways they can go on this, because we already know there's the new Hunger Games book that will be accompanied by a movie as well, not long after the book comes out. Do they de-age Donald Sutherland with CGI and like put him in there kind of like they did with Governor Tarkin and Leia in Rogue One, and like Luke Skywalker as well in the Mandalorian, or do you just recast? I mean, it's long enough in the past. I mean, it's 25 years before the original Hunger Games films, so he's about
24.
50 years old. Sorry?
24 years before their first
Blake's
one.
a poser.
I'm a poser. I missed it by 1 year. About 25 years. About 25 years. 25 years in, well, it's 24 to 25. if you're talking about the second and third books. But anyway, so I don't know who would play President Snow in his. I guess he'd be in his 50s, right? Maybe his late 50s at the time.
Yeah. There's two big rumors that I've heard. The first of which is Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland's son, could play this intermediary version of him. I'd like the casting. For those that love 24 in the early 2000s, Jack Bauer is Kiefer Sutherland. So imagine Jack Bauer running around as president. He also played on Designated Survivor as the main character there. So we've seen him in a presidential role before.
I was going to say, he actually played the president. But this is a little different. This is more of a
darker role for him.
I know we call him president. I know we call him President Snow. This dude's not a president, okay? he's a dictator. Like let's be real here.
Yeah, this would definitely be a darker role for him, and I think it would fit well to carry on his father's legacy to carry on the role.
Kiefer Sutherland definitely has the range to play this role.
He does. That seriousness that you get from Jack Bauer, I think, could translate very well over to this age of President Snow.
Yeah.
Because part of the knowledge that we already know about the movie is how Haymitch won. He pissed off President Snow, and next thing you know, President Snow kills his mom, his sister, and his lover.
Personally, I think they should go in a different direction and just do a de-aged Lawrence Fishburne.
The other rumor I hear is they're going to CGI age Tom Blyth, who played young President Snow in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh.
Okay, so they're going to age him up.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not mad at it.
I'm not either. I think
makeup on.
That's what I was going to say, Andrew. You're right. I wouldn't do so much with the CGI. You can do practical effects and get a way realer version of an older actor.
And if they go that route, it leaves the door open for more if they want to fill in and do more stories between Ballad, Songbirds, and Snakes and this film, to have Tom come back and play different ages of himself for President or Coriolanus / President Snow.
Yeah.
Through all the different iterations, and it would look believable.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'd watch if they came out and said we're gonna release one Hunger Games film a year, and we're gonna go through every single Hunger Games. I'd probably watch it.
By the time they finish, we'd all be dead.
We would all be dead. I would be totally down for that. I know that's bad to say. I mean, all the kids killing each other, but the Hunger Games part of the actual Hunger Games are some of my favorite scenes. So I enjoy watching the kids kill one another like this. Should I say that on the podcast? Should I say that?
Just as bad as everyone else in that movie. Come on, Blake.
Am I President Snow? Could I be President Snow in the new movie?
Well, the other thing is they don't just have to do the Hunger Games itself. They could do a prequel back to the dark days in the original war before the Hunger Games even started, and I'd be very interested in that. The original rebellion with the different districts fighting against the capital.
Yeah, I mean, even
there we go.
And then even go farther back and find out how the United States became Panem. Like, what happened there? Yeah. Like, I mean,
how did we get to this dystopian state?
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a ton of content in this world.
It's probably Disney, to be honest.
Probably Disney did it.
Yeah.
Another news: Star Wars is dead. Disney killed Star Wars, and they're going to destroy the world as well.
Star Wars is dead.
Sad news about Donald Sutherland. However, there is hope for the President Snow character, and at least we can look forward to that. So, Dork Wars, the podcast, has a merchandise store.
Merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store.
We've got Dork Wars the t-shirt, Dork Wars the hoodie, Dork Wars the coffee mug, and yes, we even have Dork Wars the smiley Sith helmet.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Does it come in a lighter color than black, though?
It does. We got black. We have...
Yellow?
No, we have...
No, we have dark gray.
Extremely dark gray. It's almost a black. Some say it's a black.
It's called almost black.
We have reverse white. We have that. We have tons of colors.
So no yellows. Okay.
No yellow. No.
Okay.
Can't have yellow.
Okay.
But check us out on dorkwarspodcast.com. There you can find everywhere we stream. You can find our YouTube channel. And yes, even the Dork Wars merchandise store. There we have all types of apparel. We have hats now. They look pretty cool. I wear one all the time. I wear one golfing now, guys. So me and Andrew went golfing the other weekend.
Yep.
Had a great time
Yep.
being bad at golf together.
Yep.
And he didn't get to see it because it came the day that we played golf. But I got this little one of the hat clips with the ball markers on it. It's the Millennium Falcon, dude, and it looks so good on my Dork Wars hat. So if you play golf, you can go on Amazon and get that. We don't sell the Millennium Falcon ball marker thing. That would be cool. But we do sell the Dork Wars hats, and they go well together. So go check that out if you're a golfer. If you're not a golfer, it doesn't even matter. If you just like wearing Dork Wars stuff, go to the website, find the Dork Wars merchandise store, and buy a little something. I'd say it's on us, but we're not going to pay for it.
It's on you.
It's on you. Yeah, it's on you.
And the next time that the Dork Wars ensemble goes to play golf, you can see videos of us failing at golf,
At golf?
on all our social medias.
Let's not do that.
I think we should. It would draw a ton of attention to the show.
Okay. Dork Wars, the podcast, is part of the Subculture Podcast Network.
This show is part of the Subculture Podcast Network. For pop culture and entertainment podcasts, go to bio.link/subculturepodnetwork. Prepare to be entertained.
Tonight, we are talking about the Acolyte Episode 4, Day.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
So it looks like we are getting away from the duality titles, right? We had the first episode that was Lost Found. They're pretty much opposites. Episode 2, which is Revenge Justice, they are opposites as well. And then last week's episode was just Destiny. This week's episode is just Day. So there's got to be something, right?
Yeah, there's definitely something there. What I'm thinking is, based on the first two episodes, how the twins, May and Osha, are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Of, light and dark, and things of that nature. They have two different goals, and they're going along two different paths that are opposite of each other. But as we've seen in episode 3, the flashback episode, they were kind of on the same wavelength a little bit, and then diverged
till the end.
towards the
I was going to say till the end.
Yeah, they diverged at the end. But I mean, even after,
pretty drastically.
even after May decided, hey, I'm just going to kill my sister. That'll make this all better.
It happens sometimes. I've got a sister. I got 2 sisters. I know how it
Been there,
is.
done that.
I stand with you, May. I stand with you.
Even after she decided to do that, Osha still tried to save her at the bridge. And then in this episode, May's like, you know what, this whole revenge thing, yeah, I'm done with it. It doesn't make any sense for me anymore. And, trying to turn herself in and go down more of the path of Osha because she found out Osha's alive. So
Yeah.
I think it's, based on what the two characters are aiming for. My big theory also is that as time goes on, there's going to be a reversal, and Osha is going to diverge, and we're going to see the opposites on the episode titles again towards the end.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It was kind of my theory as well. We're going to get back to the dualities, the opposites. I think Osha might become bad, man. I think Osha might take a turn to the dark side. Like I've had this feeling for about an episode and a half now.
I definitely think it's possible, but I think what I'm foreseeing happening has nothing to do with the titles. It just has to do with the fact that they're both still bound to the Force. She doesn't want to be part of this dark. May doesn't want to be part of this dark thing anymore, and she's like afraid, but she's not going to become a Jedi, and neither is May. They're not going to become Jedi, but the Jedi aren't going to let them practice the Force. So eventually there's going to be a rift between the Jedi and them. So maybe they're both going to go bad.
All right.
It's interesting. I'm not so sure. I mean, it definitely happened. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But
Oh, we've got video evidence. I can play it right now.
All I'm saying is, while we're here talking about this, I was right last week. You're all welcome.
Right about what? I don't remember.
About saying that the Grand Inquisitor was getting replaced, that first one wasn't the one that we saw from Rebels, and I was correct.
How are you correct about
Do
that?
we know that? How do you know that?
It's definitely it's a different Grand Inquisitor in Rebels from this. It's okay. When we get later on and we get confirmation that I was right, I will point you all back right here and say on June the 2nd, 2022, Grant was right and you were all wrong.
I'm going to save this bit of audio just so when we find out that the Grand Inquisitor is still alive, I can play this audio and Grant will be like,
But for me, I really think May doesn't really care. She just wants to be with her sister at this point. In terms of Osha, though, what I think is going to happen is she's going to find out more about what really happened to the Witch Coven, which we're going to learn what really happened to them too, because there ain't no way that fire killed them. Otherwise, their bodies would be charred and dead.
Yeah, that's the mystery. That's our murder mystery we got going on here. The mystery thriller. How did they die? They didn't all die in a fire in, in a minute and a half, 3 minutes. You're like, that's not what happened.
I have a theory about that too.
Oh, I mean, I think the Jedi were definitely part of it. Thus, the episode 2. Well, the episode 2 hints there of like we did what we thought we had to do.
I know.
Kind of points to their guilt.
That's why I don't think that I don't think they are part of it. I think that whoever this smiley face person is, I think they caused it. That's what I think.
Darth Dentures.
We're going to find out that person was there on that day, and they're the one that caused it. And the Jedi who killed themselves and who died with this guilt, I think that they might be mistaken. But that's also a stretch. I understand that that's a stretch because.
But well, I mean, that's what we do, man. We theorize, and I think that's solid. I think that's a solid theory. But I think you might be headed in the right direction because, like I stated this last episode, the Jedi are the good guys. In Star Wars, Jedi are the good guys. Are they kind of what's the word? Misguided sometimes? Yes. We've seen that. But they're the good guys. So I don't think that we're going to have Jedi like Master Soul and Master Indira who seem like just totems of the light side of the Force. Just go and do something blatantly dark, like burn up a witch coven, But they may feel responsible for it.
What I was going to go with was a different direction. It's just, you're sitting there talking about Soul not doing that, but Soul was looking for May and Osha. I think he split off from the other 3 Jedi in the flashbacks. Go to find Jedi and go and find the kids. He had that connection with them more than the other Jedi did. Right off the bat. So that was his job. And so he doesn't know what really happened. As far as he knew, they did die in the fire. And only these 3 other Jedi who are now dead knew the truth, other than what May has seen and knows.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, and I know we've kind of gotten into our conversation, but for those wondering, no, we're not going to go like sequentially through events. We don't like doing that on Dork Wars. We much rather just talk the high points. That being stated, we've talked about Darth Dentures a lot here, and who do you think it is? Do you think it's someone we've seen? Do you think it's someone we don't know about yet? What are your theories? Has anyone got any theories on that? Any Star Wars theories on that?
There's 2 big theories that I've seen. One is the obvious one is that it's the guy that's with
Kamir?
May.
Yeah.
He knows the Sith mantra from Star Wars: The Old Republic. Mm-hmm. There's an actual callback to the MMO.
Yeah. Then on top of that, though, I think he's acting. I mean, he's a weird character, right? Like we get his quirkiness in episode 2 when we meet him, but in this episode, like he's got that little quirkiness to him, but he's like he knows things, right? Like he's like, oh, I've been here before. He's been on the planet that Master Kelnaka's on. Like he kind of knows the area, and he's on the planet when we see we don't know if it's a Sith or not. Like we don't have any labels. You know, we're keeping this thing pretty open. It's an open relationship here with this dark side user. But when he comes out and pretty much bodies the entire Jedi clan that's come after him, the whole Jedi troop. He's got Osha, just throws her to the side. He's adept at the dark side. But Kamir is not anywhere in that scene. We don't know what happened to him. So he's on the planet, but we don't see him in that scene, but we do see Darth Smiley Face guy. So I think that's a solid theory. And I'm kind of leaning towards that one. If I'm being honest.
I mean, it's hard to imagine it not being him. I mean,
well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's giving off the aura that he's not like that sinister. Like he's just under the employ of this guy because he has something on him or he can help him. That's kind of what they want you to think, it seems. Or they might be playing us, man. They might be playing us a fool and saying, "Hey, man, like we're gonna try to make you think that we don't want you to think that it's guy, but we really think that you're gonna think it is him. So we're not gonna make it him."
Yeah. The other theory is that one of the Witch Coven from the very beginning, from the flashbacks, actually didn't die, and they're the one underneath the mask.
That was going to be my theory that I was going to mention just from earlier when I was talking about. I think maybe small chance that it could be one of the witches, maybe one of the main, either their mother who is just so far gone, or the other lady who
the other mother
definitely was like really dark-sided, felt like.
Yeah, she is a Zabrak female.
Zabrak, okay.
Yeah, of the two, I feel like the Zabrat makes the most sense. Like she was very anti-Jedi and didn't want to be anything over it.
I do want to mention this though, and this is not a theory. In fact, I don't think it has any credibility, but I just want to mention this, okay? Phantom Menace takes place 32 BBY, right? That's how I say it, BBY? And this is taking place 100 years before that?
No. So, in the opening crawl of the first episode, it says that this series takes place 100 years before the fall of the Jedi.
Which is Phantom Menace.
No, that is the end of episode 3. Or excuse me, it was the end. Now I'm getting confused. Did it say the fall of the Jedi or did it say the rise of the Empire? I think it's 100 years before the rise of the Empire, which is the end of episode 3.
If you want to go by Order 66, Order 66 would be 19 BBY. So that would make Darth Plagueis about 20 years old during this time.
Yeah,
I just want to point that out.
And he's a Mun, right? Isn't that the name of his race? They're Muns.
I mean, we know what they look like because there's canon. He's in Battlefront 2. I mean, we know what he looks like. He's in
Battlefront 2.
I guess.
No,
I'm looking. He's not?
No.
Okay, never mind. I'm looking at some bullcrap.
So Darth Plagueis, I don't know if there's a canon look for Darth Plagueis, but in Legends, he was a Mun.
We can't go by Legends anymore.
You can't, but they are taking things from Legends. So I'm not saying he isn't a Mun. I'm not saying he is a Mun. It's never explicitly stated in the movies what kind of species he is.
I say that because Darth Plagueis could be the connection between Miraculous Birth.
So it could be, and then on top of that, Darth Plagueis' master. And this is also Legends, so take it with a grain of salt. Not saying this is what's happening.
Actually, it's not Legends. Darth Tenebros was in the episode 9 visual book.
Okay, no,
that described the Sith. No, this is actual thing from Disney. This is actual canon.
I get that, but you can't take this. Not actual canon because Disney will flip that on its head. They're George Lucas. We'll talk about that. I've got some stuff on that in a little bit, but I don't. If it's not stated in the movie or in a TV show that was produced by Disney or George, I can't take it for face value. Because there's some other things in this episode that are stated in a commentary by George Lucas in episode 1. Even though he doesn't own it anymore, Disney does. I get that. Still, that doesn't mean he wouldn't have changed it. It certainly doesn't mean Disney won't change it. So I can't take that. But in Legends, and it's said that he exists, Darth Tenebris. He tried to get away from the rule of 2. he trained 2 apprentices. One was Darth Plagueis, and the other guy's name is kind of failing me right now. I can't think of his name.
May.
May. No, it's not May. Gosh. Sorry,
Osha.
guys.
Oh wait, we've been pronouncing it Asha the whole time. Oh, now it makes sense.
I've been calling her Osha. My Twitter account autocorrected it to Oshawa the other day. But anyways, I can't remember the name of that other Sith that Darth Tenebrous trained, but he tried to get away from the rule of 2. So maybe this is the other apprentice. Maybe it's not Darth Plagueis, but Darth Plagueis' brother, student brother, classmate, peer, whatever you want to call it. But I've also seen, and this one's a little out there for me. This is really a lot of, obviously this is all speculation, but Master Indira, I've seen a lot of people say that maybe she's the Sith person under the mask.
The green one?
No, that is Vernestra. Master
Oh my
Indira is the
gosh.
first one that died. That's Trinity from Matrix.
Oh,
So
that would
if
be a
you-
twist because
if
she
you-
hasn't been in it since.
That would be a twist. And Carrie Ann Moss is her name, and she was like pushed really hard. Like they put her name out there pretty hard for this series, and she was literally just in that first episode and dies, and then in the flashback. But if you notice in the flashback, she's got 1 dot on the side of her left eye, and on the the first episode, which was present day for the show, she has 2 dots. There's also 2 dots that represent May and Osha in the Witch Coven drawings and stuff. So I don't know. People are trying to make this connection that maybe she is orchestrating all this and like faked her death. I don't know. I'm not saying that's got a lot of credibility. I just thought I'd throw it out there. It'd be a cool twist. It's something I wouldn't think of.
You know, that would really put a lot of these people who were like, "Oh my God, Disney has killed Star Wars because a Jedi died from a blade." People,
Dude, they stuck her in the heart with a freaking. I get it. I wish the lights. Yes, I think the lightsaber stabbing people and them not dying is kind of stupid. Qui-Gon Jinn would agree with me. He died by lightsaber stab.
Yeah,
but I mean, we saw a dagger go in this chick's heart. Like she was, and it was, dude. That scene is so good. Like people are discounting it. That scene is so good. May goes to attack a civilian. I know I'm kind of backtracking, but she goes to attack the civilian, and she plays on the Jedi's sense of duty to save that person, and then kills the Jedi. That is freaking wild, man. That was a good play. I mean, it was just a good play.
I agree.
Good action sequence. But yeah, I don't think there's much way. I don't know. I don't think that's what they're doing. But I have seen the theory out there. Thought I'd bring it up. So, Master Kilnaka. In the trailers, we got to see some Wookiee Jedi action, some fighting. We didn't get to see that in this episode. We didn't get to see him fight, man. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I'm upset by that. Like he was teased so much and then just dead.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, obviously you hit it on the trailer. We see him in Jedi action, and in the show we haven't seen it, which points back to another flashback
Might be a
episode
flashback. Or maybe
thing
he's
where we see
he's
him-
under the mask. No, I'm just kidding. He's Darth Teeth, man.
flashback where we see him use his Jedi action to kill the Witch Coven.
Yeah. That's a good speculation. I'm on board with that.
So I would like to point out that whoever this person is, they've got to be pretty tough because they are now willingly and knowingly challenging like 6 Jedi masters. They're all masters, right? Are there Padawans in there? Or are they knights?
No, they're all Jedi Knights at least. Well, not all of them are Jedi Knights either. No. Yeah, there's some Padawans in there.
Yeah, there's
but
some
like
Padawans.
some pretty tough dudes, and then
Well,
some
I mean,
weak
you've got
things.
Master Soul, full-fledged master.
Mm-hmm.
You have Yord, who's a Jedi Knight. Seems like he's kind of a newly
Hey,
promoted
I'm digging
Jedi Knight.
Yord, by the way. I'm digging
Are ya?
Yord more and more. Yeah. I was down on him on the first episode, but
he was a little stale that first episode. I think I get his character. I understand his character, and I think it's growing on me a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still a douchebag. Of course, Jeky's the Padawan. What other Jedi were there? There was the Plo Koon.
There's some more.
Was there the
Plo Koon race?
Plo Koon looking dude was there.
Yep, he's there.
Yeah, there's a couple yellow lightsabers. Yeah, there was like 6 Jedi. One was definitely a master, but still, I mean, one guy to take one master and some knights and a Padawan or two. I mean, that's a tough guy. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
He's tough.
I mean, not just that, but he just floats down behind Osha and just like, yeah, I'm here. And
Floats.
my big question is, why didn't he stab Osha through the back and everything?
It's
He
not his
moves her out of
plan.
the way.
That's not his plan. He don't.
This guy's smart.
This guy's smart. That's not his plan, dude.
That's why I think
don't want to kill
whatever's about to happen. That's why I think that he's going to be able to try to whoop their asses pretty well if he's attacking them.
I think he knows. I think he knows May's turning on him because, like, if it's Kamir, he knows May's turning on. Like, he can feel that in the Force, I'm sure, and he can feel that Osha's heart is probably a little bit more susceptible to the dark side now. Like, she's figuring some things out, and she's Osha's not at a great place. Like, I've seen people
he
talk.
might not fight.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying.
He might talk and reveal.
That'd be cool. I'd like some of that, but I do want some lightsaber action. I don't think we've got enough lightsaber action. We've gotten some action in the show, but I don't think it's been enough lightsaber action.
I don't want there to be forced lightsaber action.
No, I want it to make sense, but I definitely want it to happen. But I think Osha is at this very confused place in her journey, in her life. She's no longer a Jedi. She's out there working as like an astromech. Basically, she's a mechanic. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. She's been mourning the death of her mother and her sister and the rest of the coven for years and years and years. Turns out her sister's still alive. That's got to be confusing, you know? So I feel like she's in a right place to be kind of seduced by the dark side. She could be susceptible to that. And people keep saying like her acting's wooden. Like all across the board they say that. I think she's done a great job as May. I think Osha's character just really hasn't been very dynamic in any way.
I can tell they're two different characters when she's playing them.
Exactly though. She is playing them very different. May is way more animated than Osha is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. I think Osha's gonna like she's gonna go from like a mid character to I think she might go to a conflicted, maybe even dark side character. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking because he didn't kill her right off. He didn't want her dead.
I want to take bets on how they're gonna start the next episode.
I'm thinking full-fledged
they're
fight.
gonna start with a battle, or if they're gonna start with like some other crap.
Actually, I'll tell you. I'll put you on this. I bet you next episode's a flashback.
Just starts with a flashback.
Yeah, I think next episode's a flashback. Whole episode. I'm calling it right now.
Nah, I wouldn't.
Calling it right now. Yeah,
I'm calling next episode's title's going to be Night.
Night,
day, night. Okay,
Night. Well, I mean, think about it. Most of the episode. Well, I was thinking about it. Why was this episode named Day?
Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean, it was
because May found the light,
and it rhymes with day.
No, that's just silly, Blake. I'm making a good point, and you're just being goofy.
I know, I'm sorry.
She's finding the light. It's day now.
It definitely could be.
She is, man, and she totally throws off the dark side. She's just totally like, man, I'm done with revenge. I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi.
Which is weird.
Kamir's like, dude, they're going to kill you. Yeah, it is. It is kind of abrupt.
Even in writing, like, it's just weird.
I agree. It's very abrupt.
And also, this other guy who was in the first or second episode, who everybody in the first and second episode was saying, he's obviously a Sith. And I was like, how can you say he's obviously a Sith? And then it turns out he is obviously a Sith. That's really random, too.
Who are you talking about? Darth Teeth or Kamir?
Is it Kamir?
Yeah.
Yeah, why is he working, like,
Like, it's not that shocking because, like I said, he quoted the Sith Creed to May in the second episode.
He did.
Like, he knows the
I
Sith
missed
Creed.
that. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Star Wars The Old Republic reference.
Yeah.
Like, is he just gathering a bunch of Nair dwellers?
I don't know. I think the only ones that we really know of are May and Kamir.
And him. Yeah.
So it might just be him manipulating her and he making her think that he's got this network of people when he really doesn't.
So it could be him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's the running theory.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're gonna find out next episode.
I don't think so either.
You know, I hope. I mean, we've heard him talk at the end of the first episode, but like, I'd like to get some more there.
That would be a good penultimate episode reveal to find out who Darth Teeth is.
Because she was like, oh, she told him. And then that could explain why he got there faster. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. And plus, he had been there before and found Kalnaka already. He knew where he was, so he didn't have to.
He knew where he was. He knew his bearings. He knew everything.
I mean, right before, Osha traps him up, he goes off to collect something on his own first.
Yeah. And like I said before, we see the Sith dark side user guy in that scene. After we saw that he got trapped by May, we don't see him for the rest of the episode. And then we see the dark sider. So I don't know, man. I think they're trying to coax us into believing it's him. And either it is him or they're gonna do a twist on us.
I mean, I don't think they'll make it a character that we haven't seen on screen yet, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
Because then the reveal's lost on, most of your audience. If it's a book character that we know of and it's gone and they've turned, I mean, that leaves a handful of characters that are alive still from the books and get hurted.
The only way that it can be a character that we haven't seen in this show yet and appeal to everyone is if it is Darth Plagueis. I don't want it to be, personally. I'd love to see Darth Plagueis on screen. I do want to see that story. But I don't want it to be him. He's always been in the shadows. Like, his whole thing was being in the shadows. This guy's not in the shadows.
Just imagine, he's got this great goofy-ass helmet on, right?
Yeah.
That gets destroyed in a battle, right? And now he's only got half a helmet. And he looks just like Darth Plagueis that everybody else looks at. Where he's got, just like a neck.
The big old forehead thing, yeah.
I mean, maybe this is young Darth Plagueis before he goes into mystery, and the Jedi think they have killed him. And then he just goes into hiding, and they don't know that he's pulling the strings behind. The other thing that we talked about this in text after I listened to your first podcast episode for this, is that this is supposed to go for like 3 seasons, and there's supposed to be time jumps where the last season is supposed to follow Palpatine.
Yeah.
What?
Rise.
Is that true though? I don't know.
That's the thing
Is that
that
official
I'm hearing.
news? Is that official news?
If it was official news, it'd be in the news section.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not.
That's what the big thing is.
I got
one moment.
Wait, Grant. Before you keep going, I got to hit rumors.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Sorry, you can keep going now.
You're good. Rumor has it that this is supposed to be like 3 seasons on this show, and that it's supposed to end up following Palpatine in the last season and his rise of a Sith. I'd be fine with it. That means there's time jumps all throughout between the different seasons, and it could give us some different takes on stuff. We could see some of these Jedi grow up, like our good old favorite boy that Andrew loves very much, very strict Jedi Knight who just became a Jedi Knight. Maybe he's part of the reason that the Jedi in the prequels are so has to be by the book.
Yeah, Yord.
Because he gets on the council and starts, being that example for it. So
he's a snitch.
I think there's a good opportunity to see how the Jedi morphed from what they are now, which is kind of free flowing. They're still more strict than they were during the High Republic books, but
yeah.
But they're not nearly as strict as they are in the prequels.
Yeah.
They're pretty strict about Force babies.
So Grant, are you hearing all this from Mike Zero? Is this where you're getting your
I
info?
do not subscribe to Mike Zero or to Star Wars Theory.
Star Wars Theory doesn't do much theorying anymore. He just gets on there and goes, blah. That's all he does.
So what you're saying is there's a gap in the audience who wants Star Wars Theory that we could take over.
Yeah, we could be the new Star Wars Theory, but with actual theories of Star Wars. Anyway,
and not hating it all the time.
Not hating it all the time. And I mean, I want to tell you what, man. If it deserves hating, I will hate on it. If it deserves it. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it on this show, like things I didn't like, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this show so far. I will say that right now. Make that declaration. But I do want to move on, and this is probably going to be one of our final points. Who knows? You never know with us, but Ki-Adi-Mundi. We got to talk about Ki-Adi-Mundi, guys. Like, it is all the rage right now. It's all over the internet. It's getting out of hand. He's not supposed to be alive. In Legends, he had a birthday. His birth date's years from now in a documentary, a behind-the-scenes commentary of episode 1. It was stated that his birthday was in 30 years from when this takes place. Well, guess what? None of that's canon anymore. George Lucas doesn't own Star Wars, which is unfortunate. Disney does. What are your takes on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this. I don't have a problem with Ki-Adi-Mundi being here. Ki-Adi-Mundi. I have no problem with him being here. You know, you see that he's old in the prequels.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, his race apparently ages very slowly.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, him being here doesn't break canon. It doesn't, you know, it isn't a big uproar. It isn't like he's a main character going around and doing stuff. He's just a passing character in the Jedi Temple who talks about, should we bring this up to the council, to the Grand Council, or should we just, not?
Ki-Adi-Mundi. We've been agreeing a lot tonight, guys. Like, this is not the usual Dork Wars. We are usually at each other's throats about things, and I know you guys enjoy that. But it is nice to agree on things every once in a while, you know. And I think Ki-Adi-Mundi being here is not breaking canon. It's not the memberberry thing. You hear all these popular YouTube tubers talking about how memberberries and key jangling and name dropping people they do that for the fans and to keep them watching, and that's the only reason people watch is they're making fun of you by bringing up stuff from the past. No, they don't even say his name. You don't know it's Ki-Adi-Mundi until you look at the credits. If you look at the credits,
I didn't know it was Ki-Adi-Mundi because I just thought
I didn't
it was
either.
a guy that looked like him.
I was like, hey man, there's one of those guys that look like he has a phallic head. It's one of those races. I didn't know it was him, and I didn't know until afterwards. And I didn't even see it in the credits. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't inspect the credits like that. I do a lot of times because of the show and trying to get stuff, but I didn't make it to that point before I learned it was Ki-Adi-Mundi. And yes, in Legends, he had a different birthday. George Lucas said his birthday was different on a commentary back in 1999. Disney owns it now. They can change whatever they want. It's never been stated in a movie when he was born. It's never been stated, even if it was in a book. They can change. The movies and the TV shows are the ultimate canon. Video games are secondary. Books are secondary. Like the Ahsoka book that came out. I think it's literally just titled Ahsoka. Came out in the Disney era. They changed that story for Tales of the Jedi, and it did change the story. That's the canon. Master Depa Balaba's death. It was in a comic book. When Disney took over, they changed it in the Bad Batch. Not incredibly different, but it is different, and that is the canon. George Lucas, in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, flopped on his own canon all the time. Like, I mean, I love George. George is amazing. He brought us Star Wars, and his storytelling is amazing. His world building is amazing. But why's Leia macking on Luke if that's her brother? You know, he wouldn't have done. He didn't know that. He changed that. Was Boba Fett always a clone of Jango Fett? in the original trilogy, did he make Boba Fett as a clone? No, he didn't. I do not believe he did that. And you can go back and forth on that one. That one's kind of here or there. Obi-Wan's master was stated to be Yoda in the original trilogy. That was the master who taught me, is what he says. Turns out it's Qui-Gon Jinn. So George Lucas even did stuff like this, and on a more major scale, in my opinion. I know that was kind of a long rant, but what do you guys think about that? I mean, is Disney way out of line for changing the small detail and having the small cameo that really isn't a quote-unquote member berry or key jangling moment?
I have two thoughts on it. My first thought is that, number one, there was really no reason to make this Ki-Adi-Mundi. There was absolutely no reason to do it.
But there wasn't a reason to not.
But that's not a good enough reason to do it. I don't think it was necessary, and I think that it's just another... I believe that there are things that Disney does that is pretty stupid, and I think this was one of them. But
no.
I don't think that it breaks any canon because the canon doesn't exist. It's behind the scenes, so no, absolutely. They're not changing anything. I'm not upset because they're changing anything. I just think it's kind of weird that this guy just showed up. But also, at the same time, without any information, not knowing that they said some crap behind the scenes and a commentary that's not part of the movie, you know what I mean? Like, if I didn't know that, and before you told me that, and you told me it was Ki-Adi-Mundi, I was just like, oh, shit, they live a long time. They live a couple hundred years. That's cool. Okay.
And apparently they do. Yeah, they apparently do. And so why do you think that was a stupid move by Disney, Andrew? If you don't mind me asking, like, what kind of reasoning do you have behind that?
Because Disney has a history of being hated for introducing old stuff into Star Wars that's slightly different. Okay. And so doing stuff like that all the time is not a smart move on Disney's part. And the reason I say that is because they're very tactful. They've been very, in my opinion, very tactful about the quote-unquote woke LGBTQ whatever bullshit that people are upset about. I don't see any problem with it because it's just like normal life where it's not made a big deal of. It's just, it's literally said in passing and moved on because it's just a normal fucking thing. And I don't know why they're not doing that with these kind of things. But also, I could just see an exec just being like, hey, let's throw in, I want Ki-Adi-Mundi in there. He's my favorite. He was my favorite as a kid. I want him in there.
His head reminds me of a time in my life. You know?
Exactly. Like, that could have been what it was. I don't know. I don't know. We have this old model head. Let's just use it. I don't know.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't think the LGBTQ thing has been overly. It's in everything now. I mean, it's in every show almost. It's in every movie. I mean, you can't dig Disney too much on that because it's everywhere. So don't dig them on that. It would be different if that was like some character's whole identity. That was everything that character was.
If there was a character going around correcting people all the time or something like that.
They did that. So they did that in the new Doctor Who specials. At Christmas time, they had Doctor Who specials with David Tennant, who was the 10th Doctor. And then he regenerated into that form again. Anyway, there was a scene where like there was like a minute and a half where they're debating this alien's pronouns. And it takes you out of the moment. It's like superfluous, unnecessary. And it's like, come on guys, like this is too much. That's too much. And Disney did do that. That was too much. But I don't think Star Wars has made any of those kind of errors. I don't think they've made anyone's identity about their sexuality at this point. I mean,
We've made Luke and Leia's identity about their brotherly, sisterly sexuality.
That's different, man. That's different. That's a whole. You would think if Luke was so strong in the Force, he would have felt that. He wouldn't have, like, after Leia and him kiss, you see him like rear his head back and he puts his hands behind his head and he's all like smug with himself. Like if he If he was really in tune with the Force, he would have been a little like, oh my God, that kind of tasted like my DNA. Like, what was that?
No, he was just a little foreign boy who was getting some big time action with a princess, and he's like, "There's a nice connection here." He didn't put two and two together. He just knew there was a connection.
He is kind of from like Space Alabama. I mean, makes sense.
You bring up another point though. Leia being Force sensitive. Who knew that was going to happen? Not George Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was in the cards either. So I can definitely forgive them changing Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday. Like, I'm going to tell you what, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've read a lot of the Legends. I've read most of the Legends books. I can't tell you I've read them all because there's like a billion of them. I'm a huge fan. Couldn't have told you what Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday was before this week. So
You sound like a fake fan.
I do sound like a fake fan, man. I'm a poser. I'm a Star Wars poser, guys. We've been doing this podcast for a couple of years now. I'm just a poser. I've never even seen.
Blake's just a poser in general.
I've never seen A New Hope. I'm not even
Blake's
real.
A poser.
I'm not even real. I'm just like I'm actually three dwarves who are stacked on top of each other in a trench coat. That's what I am.
Ewoks in a trench coat.
More like two dwarves.
Okay, I'm short too. Yeah, I'm short. I am short.
Damn.
Guys,
Roasted.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. That got me right. That got me right in the.
Damn, dude.
I would say it got me right in the heart, but I'm pretty short, so it got me right in the head. So. No, I love you guys, man. I like poking fun with y'all. But do you guys have any other crazy comments on this episode, on episode 4?
I do. After
Okay.
everything that I said about, and after your whole rant about the LGBTQ thing, I want to point out that I do think it was kind of weird that they referred to this animal as a they. That was kind of random and not completely necessary, because I viewed that character as like an animal. I view all those types of characters that people don't understand their language. You can't really communicate with them, but you can kind of understand, kind of like how you can understand that a dog wants to go outside.
Right.
So I would have referred to it as an it, but maybe it was offensive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
there's that's a little thing.
I mean,
Because it is a
passing.
sentient being, like you said.
It is a sentient being. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast. Just FYI to everyone. And yeah, I mean, I was of the opinion that it is a sentient being. I think there's an actual alien race that kind of thrives on their own. But like you said too, no one understands them, so who knows? I don't know.
And the only reason I'm pointing that out is because I want people to understand that it is okay to be a human being and to feel both ways about a situation. Like it's it's okay to take a step back and look at this media and say, well, some of it I just don't enjoy. Just like Obi-Wan, where I thought there was a lot of stuff in Obi-Wan that was just not great. But people are saying that it's like some of the best Star Wars now, and I'm just like, what?
They didn't say that when it was coming out. I know
exactly.
that.
So I just,
but I'm with you there, man. That is it's a little thing, but it's like one of those little things. It's like, I mean, it was kind of weird to throw that in there. Another one, and I'll throw this out there. I think we need to do Tales of the Empire at some point. Maybe we'll get to that after we finish up with the Acolyte. But there was not the last episode. I think it was the second to last episode of Tales of the Empire, where Barriss Offee is an Inquisitor, and they go to this town, and they talk about this Jedi, and they say they. Well, how does Barriss Offee know that it's a they? She don't know who this Jedi is, and she's given the quote unquote correct pronouns for this Jedi she's never met. It was just weird. Not something that it just like takes me out. I'm like, oh my god, this is trash. But it is something that's like, that's a little much, Disney. That's a little much. So
yeah, I just feel like it was. Disney's been really tactful about all of it, and maybe that was just one that they missed on. I don't know.
Yeah, and the Jedi and Tales of the Empire as well.
I mean, there's definitely some sort of a consultant company involved in apparently in all video games and a lot of media that's being released. There's all sorts of companies that are
I'm sure,
involved
man.
in
That's just the climate.
clearing.
That's just the climate of the day, man. I mean,
We need to get involved in some of these companies, man.
we probably should. We're gonna get canceled.
Grant's gonna get us canceled, dude. He's
Come on,
been
Grant.
so offensive tonight.
He has been.
What are you talking
You
about?
called me short, dude.
You
That's heightest. You're being heightest right now, and I don't appreciate it.
That was a good one, though. That was really funny and tactful.
was-
Hey, you're the one who brought up 3 dwarfs on top of each other.
I did use the word dwarf.
I'm more like 2, dude. That was a good one. That was a good one. Oh,
Let's all right. Let's edit that out. Whoever's editing this one, let's edit that out. All right. I'm just kidding. Leave it in. Awesome, man. I think we can move to the ratings. So, Grant, I want to come to you first. What do you give the Acolyte episode 4 day out of 10?
I'm gonna give this episode probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It could have been better. I did not like how short it was. I would like a little bit more meat there, a little bit longer runtime, and you know how Kalnaka is just not used in this episode. I mean, you see him at the beginning from the flashback from the 2 episodes ago, and then you see him dead. And I mean, they didn't utilize him at all, and I feel like that was a misappropriation there. There was no fight scene.
Yeah.
There was no anything there with him, which I think is a missed opportunity.
I can agree with that. Kelnaka, he was kind of hyped up, man, at the end of the 2nd episode, I believe. Yeah, at the end of the 2nd episode, you see the hunters come into that wooded area, and he just kind of scares them off. It's like, oh man, this guy's gonna be tough, and he wasn't. Underutilized. I can agree on that. Andrew, what are you rating the Acolyte episode 4 day out of 10?
I had to think about this one a lot because this is
It's
definitely
hard.
more
It's
of
hard.
I mean, it's definitely more of a filler episode. It's an episode that leads.
A vamping episode.
Yes, it's an episode that leads into the next episode. So, that being said, I'm gonna have to lower my score from the last couple of weeks and put this one at a 6.5.
Ooh, okay. Took a dig, man.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. It's not as strong as the other episodes that we've had thus far, and it's just because, like, I think it really is that runtime's what's really killing me, because they don't really cover all that much. They walk through a jungle, and then that's basically the entire episode. They walk through a jungle.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the weird thing is that it all builds up to this, like, 2 big twists where, oh, it turns out that they actually beat you to the Wookiee and killed it, and also it turns out you're gonna switch to the light side. That felt lackluster, and maybe it's because, like you said, there wasn't enough build up, wasn't enough, or
There wasn't
maybe
any
it was
conflict
because
there.
I also think that Disney is hurting themselves by releasing them once a week, because I feel like I gotta go back and watch the other episodes to get the build up.
Would you say that they should have released it all at one time, or
Yeah, just let
2 a
everybody.
week?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do it. I mean, maybe they get more ratings. Maybe it keeps people subscribed for an extra month or 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely to keep people subscribed for an extra month or 2.
It's a streaming tactic, I think. Yeah.
I still wish they would all just follow Netflix's release all the episodes at once.
Yeah, but even Netflix is kind of going away from that. They'll release half a season and then another. Yeah.
But even that's okay as long as the next half is the next week, which is what they normally do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean that's more like regular TV. You know, you get to the mid-season finale, and then they take a couple weeks off, and then the episode started back again.
Yeah, a lot
Look,
of times
man,
when it's that way, it's designed that way too, so that like ends on a cliffhanger just to give you like, oh, I only have to wait a week to get more.
I'm only gonna say this: it wasn't that long ago that we waited week to week to watch TV and to get the next part of the story.
and then miss it because you got to go to freaking football practice or something.
Go to football practice, or you got something, or your mom's like, no, we're going to eat dinner.
You got to mow the lawn.
You can't watch the next Avatar: The Last Airbender. You're going to be lost next week.
Exactly.
Yeah. That hurt.
Dragon Ball Z's. I used to remember having to be home during Toonami so I could catch that.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball
you
Z
had to be
saga,
home
dude.
between 5 and 6 to see Dragon Ball Z.
It
Yes,
took
sir.
8 weeks to watch, or like it took half a year to watch the Frieza fight. But man, it was worth it.
Then you'd get to the end of the Ginyu saga. This happened, I know, twice. You get to the end of the Ginyu saga, and it would go right back to the beginning. It would literally be Captain Ginyu, and the next episode was Raditz, and it was like, no, I wanted the next one, and you didn't know if it was going to be the next one or if you were going to start over. You never knew. It's horrible.
It's because of the dub switching.
It was yeah, part of it was going from Blue Ocean to Funimation. Yeah, that was a big one. I don't even know how we got on Dragon Ball Z. We're talking ratings of Acolyte.
I don't know, but speaking of
episode
Dragon Ball
4.
Z, man, that guy floated down. He just floated down like Goku, man. Straight up, it's just like Vegeta, like Goku when he goes super, and he's just like so
I think it was more
calm.
like it was more like a Frieza move, like a sinister, like you know how Frieza like he'll cross his feet and does his hands out and he just kind of floats.
He's just calm. Yeah, he's just chilling. He's calm.
Next thing we know is this Sith with the teeth helmet. It's gonna just whip out his tail and it's just gonna wrap it around someone's throat.
So, my rating for the Acolyte, episode 4, Day. Man, I'm struggling with this. I'm gonna go with Andrew. I think 6.5. I was almost at a 6, to be honest. Not saying this episode was bad. I think we got some crucial information. We got some. We did get some good background on Osha. Like we do know, like she kind of does want to be part of the Jedi Order. Like she does want to belong. We do get the build up, kind of to the next part of the show. This would be the mid-season finale because there's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And we get a big reveal at the end. Well, not a big reveal, but a big moment. The big bad comes out and pushes off all the Jedi and just throws Osha to the side like she's nothing and can multitask in the Force and just be amazing. Like that was a good ending. I think they stuck the ending. But the whole episode as a whole, I just think it was like Andrew said, it was kind of one of those vamping episodes where we're just kind of trying to get to the next part of the story. So let's turn it over to Master Yoda for the word of the week.
There is more knowledge here than anywhere else in the galaxy.
Poser, the word of the week is. I like that you picked Poser, Master. You kind of went way back to the first part of the episode, and a little bit through our main topic. You know, I was called a poser one time through there, Andrew. That kind of hurt my feelings. So, thanks for that. Yes. Not enough you know about Star Wars. More you have to learn. Study. Meditate. Dude, Master Yoda, I got 2 kids, a wife, and a job, man. I ain't got time to meditate. Like, I'm just watching. You know, I got a lot of knowledge from when I was a kid. I know all the legends. No. No more the legends are. Gone. They are. Destroyed. I didn't know Kiadi Mundi's birthday. Okay, I will say that. Celebrate his birthday every year I have. Very nice family he has. 6 million children. Oh, yeah? How do you know that? Poser you are. Allowed to multiply he was. Endangered his species was. Well, I knew that. I didn't bring it up. It didn't come up during the episode that he was the only Jedi that could, like, you know, get it on with other Jedi for the reasons of multiplying. This is getting weird, actually, Master Yoda. A little weird tension here. Yes. All right, and with that, let's end this episode. This has been a great episode of Dork Wars, the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We post bloopers on there, some behind the scenes stuff sometimes that you don't get to hear in the episodes. So definitely TikTok for that. We also post funny videos there. Check out our website, dorkwarspodcast.com. There you have the links to everything that is Dork Wars. That includes the YouTube page. That includes the merchandise store. Go buy you a little something. A little hoodie, hat, t-shirt. We've got all sorts of stuff on there. So check that out. Thank you guys. And may the Force be with you.
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com.
This has been a
Tippity tappity tappity tippity tappity. I'm looking it up. Tippity tappity tippity tappity. I hope I beat you guys. I hope you don't beat me.
production.